Hello students, welcome back to the revision classes on system modeling and simulation. So in this session, let us discuss about some topics of module 1, types of models. Models can be classified as being a mathematical model or a physical model. Mathematical model which uses the symbolic notation and the mathematical equations to represent a system. So in the mathematical model, usually the system is represented with the help of the formulas, okay, or symbolic notations. And a simulation model is a particular type of a mathematical model of a system. Simulation model may be further classified as being static or dynamic. Okay, it can be a static simulation model or a dynamic simulation model, even deterministic or stochastic, and discrete as well as continuous model. A static simulation model, sometimes called as a Monte Carlo simulation, which represents a system at a particular point in time. System at a particular time interval, point in time. Dynamic simulation model represents the system as they change over a time. Dynamic, as the name itself tells, right? That is what the difference between the static and dynamic. Dynamic means it keep on updating. The model will be keep on updating over a time. That is what dynamic is. The simulation of a bank from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. is an example of dynamic simulation, right? The simulation of bank from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. is an example of dynamic simulation because things will be getting updated, in the sense customer arrival and variation in the balance, turnover, everything to be considered. So it is considered as the dynamic simulation. Simulation models that contain no random variable are called as deterministic. So please remember these definitions. Deterministic models have a known set of inputs which will result in a unique set of output. Deterministic arrival would occur at a dentist's office of if all patients arrive at a scheduled appointment time. That is what deterministic, because predefined appointment is given by the doctor, right, by the dentist. So according to the appointment or predefined order, customer, in the sense patients, will arrive, which is called as deterministic model. A stochastic simulation model has one or more random variable as input. Okay, random input lead to random output. So this is the thing you have to remember. Then the simulation of a bank would usually involve random inter-arrival time and random service time. Of course, the service time of the customer may vary from one to other, right? And inter-arrival time also, as well as number of customers in a session for 10 to 11. Say if the bank transaction opens from 10 o'clock, um, any number of customers may arrive. Maybe crowd may be less during 10 to 11, like say 10 customers during that duration, but immediately after that 11 to 12, if you go to study or if you go to see, let us say the crowd of 50 or even 100 of the customers may also arrive during that duration. So random, uh, the concept of randomness comes into picture here. Discrete and continuous systems, that is what we have defined, we have discussed earlier. Please refer my previous video for that. Discrete and continuous models are defined in an analogous manner. However, a discrete simulation model is not always used to model a discrete system, nor a continuous simulation model always used to model a continuous system. Okay. One example is given here. Tank and pipe are modeled discretely by some software vendors, um, even though we know that fluid flow is continuous. Okay. So please go through the definitions of all the types of models. That's what about the simulation model is. So discrete, this textbook is most most of the concepts are about discrete event simulation, right? So discrete event system simulation is the modeling of system in which the state variable changes only at discrete set of point. That is what discrete event simulation is only at certain interval, discrete point. It's not continuous, right? Um, the state of the system will be changed. That's what say discrete event system simulation is. So we'll be using various models and we'll be discussing that further. So next is about the steps in simulation study. So the first step is it's something like your software development lifecycle what you have studied earlier. So for problem formulation or requirement specification, whatever you call, right? So every study should begin with a statement of the problem statement definition. For what purpose you are going to develop the system, or for what purpose you are going to develop the simulation model. That is what problem statement or definition of problems study statement study. Then said second step is setting of objective and overall project plan. So the objective indicates the question to be answered by simulation. At this point, a determination should be made, okay, concerning whether the simulation is appropriate methodology for the problem as formulated and objective as stated. So this step will tells you about the overall project plan of the simulation model or simulation study. Next is the development of the model or model conceptualization. It is called as data aggregation or data collection. That is what the next step will be. Then model translation into programs, right? Or computer language, you can say. Next, verification, validation is required, kind of testing. This will be testing for all the possibilities or testing for the errors. Validation, of course. Then experimental design. So this is what experimental design is, nothing but the alternative that are to be simulated must be determined. What are the alternate or other possibilities are also to be determined, so that you can compare them and you can analyze which one is effective. Production runs and analysis. Then this is like a trial run or um, say beta version or whatever you can call. So you can take the feedback from the customers. You take the feedback from customer by executing it some more or take some more run of the more runs. That is what. Finally, documentation or reporting. So which involves steps documentation process or report preparation process right from the beginning till end. So there is a flowchart. This flowchart is very very important and one of the very important topic from this module. Yes, you can see the flowchart. First is the problems formulation, next the setting up of the objective and overall project plan, model conceptualization and data collection. So simultaneous process. They are interrelated. Step number 3 and 4, as you can see. And once step number 3 and 4 are completed, go for step number 5, that is model translation. Um, translation in the sense into programming and all, using programming language. Then verification and validation, step number 6 and 7. Please observe the flowchart carefully. The processes or steps are marked within the rectangle or mentioned or labeled inside the rectangle. And decision making, step number 6 and 7, that verified and validation, question mark is there, no? So decision making, how to represent the decision making concept? It is using rhombus, right? Recall the flowchart concept. So if yes or no type of question will come for that. After verification, if the verification is unsuccessful, go back to model translation step of step number 5. Okay, re-verify it. If verification is successful, go for validation, right? Again, there are two possibilities, either it can be yes or no. If no, if yes, you have to go for experimental design. If no, go back to step number 3 and 4 simultaneously, that is model conceptualization and data collection. After step number 3 and 4, directly you cannot come to step number 7, since there is a particular flow or path for the data. You have to come through step number 5, then step number 6, that verification, then perform validation. If validation is successful, go for step number 8, experimental design, then step number 9, production run and analysis. Step number 10, again there is a question mark, more runs, yes or no type of question it is. If yes, so what you have to go, what you have to do, come back to step number 8 and 9, that experimental design and production run. Then if no, go for, if more runs are enough number of executions are done, then go for the documentation and reporting. Okay, finally it is the system implementation, right? Now, this is one of the very very important topic from the examination point of view. Please study the flowchart carefully, and if you know the steps, the points easily, you can elaborate the answer in your own words. So this completes your first chapter. First chapter only. Um, we have chapter number 2 as well as part of chapter number 3 as a portion for the module 1. Let us see the second chapter contents in the next session. Thank you.